Let's get straight to the point. This is the setup that I used for my past two projects and I absolutely love it. I was using the Sony A7IV with a Zhiyun Crane M3 and my iPhone as the monitor. And the most important accessory is the dual handle from Digitalfoto. The first and the most important reason why I came up with this setup is the weight distribution. If you have used a single handle gimbal before, after a long period of time, no matter how light your setup is, your arms will feel very tired. That is because your arms are in a very weird position where your wrists are bent in a very uncomfortable way. I've been using a single handle gimbal for the past 2 years for over 20 projects, and I get super tired after using it for longer than an hour, and that is with the extra handle at the front already. Recently, I even started getting tennis elbow on my right arm, partly because of that. You really don't want to get tennis elbows because they hurt a lot. I can even straighten or bend my right arm comfortably now. With the dual handle setup, it is extremely comfortable filming because your arms are pretty much in the most relaxing and comfortable position. To be honest with you, I don't even feel like I was holding on the setup. I was filming for around 2 hours and I didn't even feel half as tired as before when I was using a single handle gimbal. If you want to know how it feels, you can try holding on something heavy in the single handle position and try holding it in the dual handle position. Let's say 2 water bottles. You will feel the difference. The most comfortable position is when you are filming at waist level because your arms are just down resting. Another position that is comfortable is around eye level because your arms are kind of tucked in. As long as your forearms are kind of pointing straight down or straight up, it will feel very natural and comfortable to carry the setup. The most tiring position for this setup is in between high and low, but it is still much better than a single handle setup. The cool thing about this setup is even when you want to film at a very low angle, it is pretty easy by bending your back a little bit. It is much better than filming in briefcase mode because you are now using 2 arms. Also, when I was using the DJI RS2 with an extra handle at the front, yes, the weight distribution is a little bit better, but because of how my arms are positioned, which is kind of sideways, sometimes my framing is off to the side as well. With the dual handle setup, my framing is completely centered. Trust me, for your health and endurance on set, try this dual handle setup out and you will understand why I want to share this idea with you. This setup is kind of similar to a gimbal ring but smaller and simpler. We'll try to get our hands on a gimbal ring to test out and hopefully make another video to show you the differences in the future. The second reason why the dual handle setup is better is because of the movements handling. When you're using a single handle gimbal, most of the time we're twisting our wrist to pan the camera. Again, that's a lot of work for your wrist. With the dual handle setup, you are swinging your whole body to pan the camera without turning your wrist at all, which is much more comfortable. That makes the panning motion a lot smoother because the rotation is now bigger and less subtle compared to turning your wrist. But the downside is the panning might be too slow for some scenes, so you might have to change the settings on your gimbal to find the right balance. Another thing about handling is that with the dual handle, the motors of the gimbal are not as stressed even when you are moving around. Every movement from your arms has less effect on the gimbal, which is constantly trying to counterbalance the movements. It is almost like holding on to a freely spinning steering wheel, which is kind of fun to be honest with you. The next reason is the ability to add accessories on the dual handle. Some single handle gimbals don't have any mounting points, or some of them like the DJI RS2 RS3, you can add an extra arm to attach your accessories. With the Digitalfoto dual handle, you can attach any accessories with the 1/4-20 mount at the end of the handles. This allows you to add accessories like monitor, lights, or microphone to your setup. So the dual handle basically has 2 features in one. I'm still attaching my iPhone as my monitor directly to the Crane M3, but now I have 3 mounting points compared to before, which is great. By the way, I talked about using the Monitor Plus app for Sony cameras for wireless control in my previous videos, so check them out if you're interested. You might notice that I didn't mention about the extra feature of the Digitalfoto dual handle, which is the Z-axis stabilization with the built-in springs. That is because I don't really like it. Yes, when it is working properly, it cancels out a lot of the up and down bounces from walking or running, which most gimbals cannot handle. But when it is not working properly, the springs might bounce your setup up and down even more. So I just tightened up the knobs to use the dual handle without the Z-axis stabilization. I also adjusted the handles to tilt forward a little bit because I found that the most comfortable to use. One downside of using a dual handle, well, at least with this simple dual handle, is you lose the ability to control the gimbal while filming because your hands are now completely off the gimbal. With some smart connect handles like the Tilt-A-Ring or the Small Rig dual handle, you can still control the gimbal because they have a separate controller on the dual handle itself. Personally, I don't need to control the gimbal that often for my projects. I just set up the gimbal and start filming. So if I need to, let's say, pan the camera using the joystick, I just take off the dual handle, which doesn't happen a lot. It is very easy to attach the Digitalfoto dual handle to the gimbal. All you need to do is to slide the gimbal arm into the slot, tighten the knob, attach the arms, choose how tight you want the arms to be, and that's it. When I'm traveling, I simply detach the arms and it is very easy to store everything away. Since everything is made out of steel, I don't really worry about throwing everything into my backpack, and assembling it on set is very quick as well. The way to attach this dual handle is very well designed because I've seen dual handle that attaches to the tripod mount at the bottom of a gimbal, and you really should avoid that because I've seen that mounting point breaking and the whole gimbal and camera fell off, and that was absolutely terrifying to see. This design keeps the stressing point in the center of the gimbal, which should be much more durable and much center weighted. It also allows you to use the stop tripod leg so you can still put your setup down. The slot where you put in the gimbal arm is also very flexible. It easily fits as big as my DJI RS2 and as small as my Zhiyun Crane M3, and there is still a lot more room for other sizes. When I'm moving from location to location quickly, I can just lock my gimbal and carry the whole setup with one of the arms like carrying a bag. That's it. Those are the reasons why I am now using a dual handle setup when I'm filming with a gimbal. It is much better than a single handle for my arms, wrist, and body in general. I hope you can give it a try and see if it helps you when you're filming as well. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. What is your favorite gimbal setup? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.